Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into something truly special today. We're actually doing a quick 5-minute overview of just one lesson out of 10 from the incredibly powerful Christian Care Mentor course. And the focus of this specific lesson? The core skills you need to effectively walk alongside informal caregivers. But here's the absolute game changer, the big secret we're going to unpack. We are going to learn how to do this really well without the overwhelming pressure of having to fix everything for them. It's a massive shift from trying to solve problems to offering genuine, true support. Okay, let's dive into this.
To really wrap our heads around this concept, let's look at a real-life scenario. Think about a mentor named Margaret and her caregiver, Leela. Now, Leela was just completely exhausted. She was caring for her husband, and his dementia seemed to be getting worse by the week. During one particular phone call, Leela let out this deep sigh and asked this incredibly heavy, almost heartbreaking question. She said, "Do you think I should just stop trying so hard?" I mean, just imagine being on the other end of the line. Imagine the weight and the silence of that moment.
Right, so Margaret felt her chest tighten. Her immediate instinct, which, let's be real, is what a lot of us would do, was to jump in and say, "No way, you can't give up, you just gotta push through." But instead of giving that well-meaning but ultimately exhausting advice, she completely pivoted. She paused, she prayed silently, and then she vulnerably shared her own past exhaustion. She admitted that when she was that tired, she actually had to ask God what faithfulness looked like for her in that specific season. And Leela, she just began to cry. Not out of despair, but from sheer relief. She actually replied, "No one has said that to me before. I thought feeling tired meant I was failing." See, Margaret didn't fix a single logistical issue that day, not one, but her shared presence, it literally changed everything.
That story perfectly captures a fundamental truth. Care mentoring isn't this top-down, worldly dynamic where an expert just swoops in to save the day. No, it is a three-way partnership. It's a shared journey between the mentor and the caregiver, absolutely anchored by God's presence. It's shaped by the really harsh realities of caregiving and marked by deep humility.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it breaks down the exact toolkit Margaret used to help Leela in that moment. There's a practical framework here, 5 core mentoring skills that help create a safe, hope-filled relationship. We're talking about support, learn, share, inform, and dream. Let's unpack these real quick.
First up on the list is support. This is really about providing a true safety net of encouragement. And practically, that means listening without interruption. It also means, and this is huge, accepting the caregiver's choices, even when they might totally differ from what you would do. It's about offering this steady, non-judgmental presence. When we offer that kind of support, we're actually reflecting God's nearness to them in their most uncertain times. It's exactly like Psalm 145 reminds us, that the Lord is near to all who call on Him.
Okay, so the second skill is learn. As a mentor, your job is basically to seek to understand the caregiver's completely unique situation. You want to understand their specific daily challenges and, honestly, their often hidden strengths. By bringing genuine curiosity and a lot of humility to your conversations, you allow yourself to truly see the person on the other end of the phone. You aren't assuming you know exactly what their life is like. Instead, you are actively taking a posture of learning from them.
Next up is share. This simply means offering appropriate pieces of your own story to reduce their isolation, exactly like Margaret did when she shared her own exhaustion with Leela. Now, we have to be careful here. We share not to compare pain, right? Or to steal the spotlight. We do it simply to accompany them in whatever they're going through.
The fourth skill we have is inform. So the crucial point here is that your role is to help caregivers access much-needed resources, but you absolutely must resist the urge to become the ultimate expert or decision maker. You're acting as a guide. You point them toward appropriate help while empowering them to keep control over their own lives and their own boundaries.
Finally, the fifth skill in our toolkit is dream. Look, when someone is deep in the thick of daily caregiving, it is so easy to lose sight of the horizon. They're just surviving. As a mentor, you get the amazing privilege of gently helping them look beyond their present crisis toward hope, toward purpose. You get to remind these caregivers that their identity and their ultimate future extend far beyond their current exhausting role.
And this brilliantly illustrates what is arguably the hardest yet absolutely most crucial lesson of all, the no advice principle. Let's be honest with ourselves here. It takes serious willpower to bite our tongues and not offer unsolicited advice when we see someone we care about struggling. But remember this, people don't change because of what you tell them to do. They change because of what you get them to say. Jumping right in to give advice can unintentionally silence the caregiver's own voice. Let's actually see how this plays out in a real role-play scenario. Imagine a caregiver is frantic, asking, "Everything is a mess right now. Should I move my mom into a home or just keep her here?"
Now, an ineffective response rushes to solve the problem. Oh, you should definitely keep her home. But watch what a mentor does. A mentor responds, what are the important factors you need to consider right now? Notice how replacing instructions with thoughtful questions completely changes the dynamic? It invites the caregiver to reflect and process things for themselves, rather than just blindly following orders.
That leads us right into this truth. Questions are significantly more powerful than answers. Really good counsel isn't about downloading all your wisdom onto someone else's lap. It means taking your own opinions and actively rephrasing them into thoughtful, open-ended questions. This approach helps the caregiver discern their own next steps under God's gentle guidance. It respects their autonomy, and it shows that you trust that God is actively working in their life too.
Let's quickly run through some final thoughts and tips to keep in mind. First, always prioritize empathy over sympathy. Empathy builds a strong connection, while sympathy can actually create distance. Second, actively practice affirmation. When you see their resilience and courage, call it out. Tell them you see it. And finally, remember that consistency reflects integrity. Simply being a reliable mentor who shows up time and time again, that mirrors God's own faithfulness to them.
Ultimately, this whole thing, mentoring, is a mutual journey. We walk alongside someone, completely trusting that God is the one doing the heavy lifting. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to ponder. Think back on your own life. When has simply being listened to been more helpful than someone trying to problem solve for you? Reflect on that for a bit, apply it to how you care for others, and keep learning.